So the next question is, does the smartphone help people with dyspraxia?
It's interesting. That's a really good question. I think I've spent a long time on explaining what dyspraxia is, so I'm not going to go into that. But I think it's important to ask ourselves a question: what is the smartphone? So, on a simple Wikipedia search will say that it's a cellular and computing functions into one unit. The way I would create the narrative bias that a smartphone is a laptop in a phone. And a smartphone has apps, which are applications. And these applications can help us. They can help us, for example, one could see part of having dyspraxia, you may have issues with memory. So you can have an alarm app, and this can help you with remembering appointments, remember to do the shopping list, remember to do shopping, remember those social commitments, remember those work commitments, and remember to wake up at a particular time. Maybe you need to get up 6 a.m. for work in the morning. You can have something like a chess app that can increase your mathematical intelligence, and other apps that can increase different forms of intelligence. Many people with dyspraxia would report that they have difficulties finding locations. I used to have this was a massive barrier for me, but when you've got something like Google Maps, Google Maps is incredible because not only does it give you the map, it shows you where you are in the map in real time. So when you're moving left, the icon in Google Maps is moving left, so you can actually physically see where you are in relation to everything. And I think that that's important when you have dyspraxia, because typically I wouldn't be able to read maps effectively. So I think, if you have a premise that dyspraxia, there can be issues with memory and directions, and these can form obstacles, then I don't see how you could conclude that a smartphone could be detrimental for someone who has dyspraxia. You can download, for example, Flowchart applications. This could help with your structuring. So a good example, actually, I just thought about this. The learning styles. So someone with dyspraxia, they may find it difficult to read a book, but then you could download Audible and then have an auditory experience. So I feel like your smartphone can be your reasonable adjustment. And there's an interesting thing, because your smartphone is a massive resource, but only if you use it. You've got to use it. It's a resource to be used effectively, or can be used effectively. On every smartphone, I think you can pull up YouTube. So say if you struggle reading and need to find an answer to a question, you can probably find a video on it, and you can watch the video. So I think the smartphone can really help people. The smartphone can help people with dyspraxia, and I've always said that I think there's a negative narrative bias against technology, but I've always said that within the dyspraxia context, technology can help. It really can. I mean, you look at your laptop, and if you do university, like I'm doing my master's degree, and then you get an assessment, one of the first things that they may suggest in that assessment, when they're writing up, what they recommend, maybe some software. You might get software that will help you, which will help with comprehension. You might get software that will, will actually speak out the words to you. To me, all of that is technology being used in a way to remove the barriers that dyspraxia can present. So I think one should look at their smartphone, and they should look at their smartphone as a resource to remove the barriers. And I think this is one of those opportunities, or this is one of those things where technology becomes potentially very, very powerful.
you.